Dare I say we just had the biggest news drop in the history of the One Piece TCG. I mean, we're going to talk about it today. But first, we have a giveaway that we're doing at 5,000 subscribers. We're giving away a box of OP14 as well as the Chinese first anniversary Sanji PSA 10. Like I said, 5,000 subscribers. All you have to do is like, comment, subscribe, as well as be a U.S. resident. And there's going to be 2 different winners for those cards. Guys, huge news drop. But first, let's congratulate someone who needs to be congratulated. So we just had the World's Finals, so all the different regions came together. There was a tournament, and the winner is Masinia. I apologize if I did not say your name correctly. No disrespect at all. A lot of respect for you. Congratulations. And he won an absolutely insane card. I'm putting it on the screen right now for everyone watching at home. Nick, what do you think this card's going to sell for?
The word grail doesn't define this card. This is like legit the holy grail of holy grails. My estimation, I'm curious to see what people are going to say this ended up going for, but if the last year's winner third place in winner's card, I win around $1 million, my guesstimation is $2 million. This guy just...
Was it million or was it in the 6 figs? I don't remember.
I thought the first place card I heard to win for around $1 million.
Oh, first place, yeah.
First place win for around $1 million. Yeah. So if that card could go for $1 million, then what do we think a 1-of-1 serialized World Championship Gear 5 Luffy is going to go for? I'm guessing probably around a couple mil. I'm guessing probably a couple.
It's insane.
So, congratulations, buddy. You just hit the lottery.
Yeah,
well deserved, though. Well deserved. Although he did play Emu. That's all I'm going to say about that. An Emu abuser, but still... Congratulations, man! You
Huge
deserve
congrats. That's crazy. It's a crazy card. I saw some images of it. Hopefully I can find them and put them on the screen. But I found some images like close up on one of those winner cards. Dude, it's unbelievable. Like genuinely unbelievable. One Piece has just some of the best design cards I've ever seen in my entire life. It's crazy.
My question is how are they going to get that thing out of there? It looked like it was screwed in up top. It looked like it had some bolts in there in between the trophy with the card. Surely Bandai created an easy way to remove the card. But, I mean, when you see the way that some of these Bandai products are packaged, are we really surprised if they make a very difficult way to try to access that card?
Dude, I would be shitting bricks carrying
Yeah, I'd be very scared. Although, like I said, it looked like it was encapsulated well inside the trophy, but the trophy looked like it was bolted together. Surely there had to be like a door or something in the back to open it up and grab the card.
I would be like carrying that.
I mean,
right there by the bedside, man. Honestly, by the bedside.
I'm pretty sure that guy probably had a phone call come in within 5 minutes saying $2 million. He's already handing it out. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I would not doubt if he already sold that card.
Someone from Singapore made a phone call.
Okay, so after the finals, congratulations again to Masinia. Massive news hit. We were watching the English broadcast yesterday, and right after that, they went into a bunch of information, and it just seemingly was just nonstop, like just literally nonstop information, and information I honestly did not think we were going to be getting at the end of that. Like, Nick and I were watching for the ban list, and number one, we did not get the ban list. Which the ban list will be out by the time this video comes out. Not out yet for us. I think it comes out in like 4 hours for us or something like that. So we don't know the ban list yet, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, we were expecting the ban list. Did not get the ban list, but we got a lot more.
Rest in piss, Charlotte Pudding. All I'm gonna say. Bandai, you better do the damn deed. It's overdue by at least 2 years.
Okay, well, we all know what Nick is hoping gets banned. I honestly, putting these
rest in piss.
Putting these to get banned. I'm hoping for Borsalino and the Rayquaza pair. I'm hoping that is no longer going to be a thing. I'm hoping for putting ban. I'm hoping for probably, dude. I just don't like Borsalino. I'll be honest.
I think the Borsalino is fine so long as it's not paired with Quasar. I think I was watching a Killikai video. Shout out Killikai, and that was something that he recommended, and I thought that made the most sense. There's no way you can ban a card that is not out in official release in English yet. They cannot do it. Killikai mentioned that the recency is a huge thing. They don't want to ban cards that are recent or that have SPs, alt arts, because, again, they want people to be able to buy these cards. They want people to pursue them in the decks from the sets. And the only thing that makes sense is them to pair ban with Quasar or just ban Quasar. Because that is really what makes Borsalino disgusting. Yeah. That with Hiyori, with Quasar, Borsalino, Hiyori, Quasar combo, get it out. Yeah. Get it out.
I'm hoping for something for Emu. I don't know what it would be. So I've seen someone
just one
say
world championship. Surely, I mean, never existed. I would be okay with that. I think the Iron Throne is a little bit of a too big of a.
It'd probably be too big of a nerf.
I think Emu would be unplayable without the Iron Throne. There's someone who recommended the ban of Jupiter, What are we doing?
How does that make sense?
You
can't ban one of the elders.
You can't ban the elders because then you can't play the 5 elders. It's just like, what are we doing?
Unless they did
Makes
like a
no
promo
sense.
card. Yeah.
No, it makes no sense.
I do think Never Existed would be a good ban, just because they still have access to like ground death.
Yeah.
And there's a 1 class 3K counter that they can still use. So there's still options that they can use, and this should just be like a small nerf. So I could totally see Never Existed happening. And then I'm hoping for the 8 cost Newgate event. The one that
Iron
plays
Whitebeard.
the
Yeah, that one might be hitting the old dusty trail. But the one thing I really want to see that I know there's no chance can happen is a restriction on the utilization of the Thriller Bark package.
Oh my god, dude!
There has to
happen,
be
dude.
ban to only allow the Thriller Bark package to work with the Gecko Warrior Leader. Make the redaction, the change on the cards, change them. Make it so it only works with a Thriller Bark leader, because what were we thinking, guys? Every yellow deck is running Thriller Bark, man. What are we doing?
Dude, if that happens, I'll eat a dick. I'll deadass. I'll eat a dick.
Please no, because the only dick in this house is mine, man. We can't be having that, man. That's be a little too controversial. But we spent a lot of time talking about the game. Yeah. We're here to talk about from a collector's perspective, a lot of news. But before we do that, I want to give a quick shout out to 2 people, okay? The first one, you're going to see in front of me these cards that look really interesting. They're not one piece. You're like, what are they? Okay. This was a special project created by Julian over at Odd Wolf Hunts. He actually wrote his very own manga called Omen. Dom knows me very well. Dom knows me very well. Dom, what is probably the last thing you'll ever catch me doing in my free time?
Reading.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my day job requires me to be sitting in front of a computer reading for 6 to 8 hours a day. You'll never catch me in my free time reading. But asterisk on this one, for the first time in probably 4 years since I was back in school, I willingly read something because I saw the passion and love that Julian put into this project. He was posting a lot of videos leading up to the release, talking about the storyline and the reasoning for why he created it. And the manga is actually very interesting. I thought it was going to be a completed story, but I'll tell you, a little bit of a spoiler, it is not. It is just setting up a bunch of groundwork, has some really interesting foundations that it lays. Kind of reminds me of a mixture of The Matrix with Gundam with solo leveling. So a lot of interesting, cool. Core concepts in there. And I really do recommend it, guys. This is not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Julian, he watches the channel. He makes incredibly great content. And if there's one thing I appreciate more than anything in this world, it is passion, and the amount of passion that he put into this project in particular. I mean, look at the damn cards. Those cards came in this exclusive bundle that you could get off of the website where they were selling it. And even the cards, the quality on there is so, so good. Showing a couple of the characters that are into the manga. So highly recommend, guys, go give Julian some love over at Odd Wolf Hunts. Again, makes great content over there with him and Kaizoku Ice doing some collabs. But also go pick up his manga that he wrote and show some love for one of the great people in the community. He definitely deserves it. The other shout out to give is to the boy next to me on the left, bringing home the chip for the heroines battle yesterday. After I myself ended up coming in second place last week. Dom split prizing with someone else to try to get one of our homies at the card shop, a Robin, last week. But this week, ended up taking the whole thing home. Congratulations, guys. Go right in the comments congratulating him. But also shout out to who he played against, Russie V. Russ is a really, really great guy and a member of the local community over here at Hidden Fortress, and we're lucky to have him. He's just an incredible guy. He makes great content out there showing player POVs, deck profiles, and deck explanations. So really do recommend you guys go check him out.
All right, guys, so we're going to the news. The massive news. I mean, I genuinely did not expect this amount of news, so it's going to be really exciting to go through this with all of you guys. So the first announcement that we got after the championship finals was OP16. OP16 was announced. It's going to be called The Time of Battle, and it's coming June 12th, 2026. So, I mean, this is
around the corner.
This is the revisit of Marineford that we've been talking about for a few months. This is the first time they're kind of revisiting an idea. So they had Paramount War, that was OP02, and now they're kind of revisiting that arc with OP16. And I think it's going to be really, really important to see how they handle the same idea with freshness. How are you going to keep it fresh revisiting the same arc? Because if they can do it with this arc, they can do it with another arc. They can do all the different arcs, and they can do it a couple times if they can make it fresh. So I think this is going to be really key to see how they handle OP16. But so far, so good. Looks really good. They're handling, like, they're doing it completely different. Like, completely different. And I really, really like. But let's get into some of the cards. So, OP16 mangas. Not just
Starting
manga.
from the top. You're starting from the top here.
From the
wow.
top, yeah.
Shocking.
Mangas, not manga. So, we have 3 different mangas in OP16. And this is not in an anniversary set, and this is not a set that is being combined together. So this is the first time we're having a set with multiple mangas, not an anniversary set, not with multiple sets combined, which is pretty cool. And we have Borsalino, so everything's on screen. We have Borsalino, we have Sakazuki, and we have Kuzan mangas. All purple. They're all for the Sengoku leader. It's pretty similar to Emu, where you play all these cards.
You get a 21 Don play for the low price 8 Don.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, we'll just say balanced. Bandai, very balanced.
Yeah, we'll have to see how broken it is. But what are your initial thoughts on these? I'll give mine, but I want to hear yours first.
You know, there's a couple things to think about. We're going to take a step back and think about OP16 in general and what it represents. Okay, so Bandai has duplicated concepts before. They're not remaking the wheel, but this is the first time where they're just blatantly copying an arc, and they're just even like the title, the entire basis of it is based off of Marineford. This is the first time where we've seen a copy paste of the same arc being the priority of the set. We have seen concepts, like I said. We've seen Egghead Luffy have 2 or 3 art variations. Like there's,
but not an entire set.
I know what I'm saying is Bandai has already shown that they can create variety for characters under the same concept for like the design.
Okay,
so
sure.
the same arc.
Sure.
But like you just said, the difference is this is the first time where the whole entire set concept is copying a previous set. So that's a really big deal, guys. It's a really big deal. We were curious to see what Bandai could do to make this one unique, make it feel fresh. For those Pokeyennies out there, the people out there who say that there's only 10 characters in One Piece, eventually you're going to run out of ideas that you can do with the stuff. And Bandai starting it off, showing not 1, not 2, but 3 mangas dedicated to the admirals in the Navy. I love the art on there. It's funny, we were watching the release with AJ last night, and he's like, why are they in the same chair? And I was like, nah, dude.
It's one iconic panel,
When you see that panel and you see the aura they're radiating when they're overlooking the entire battlefield, bro, like that art is fire. That art is so absolute heat. It's fire. Although I wasn't correct. I said that I thought for this set in particular, we were going to likely see a Luffy manga or a Newgate manga, and we end up getting the 3 admirals, which I want to say,
super sick, man.
I'm very thankful that Bandai has listened to the community's feedback about there just being too many manga Luffys. It was taking away the impact and the feeling of how special a manga Luffy was, because we had that 3 to 4 set period where we had like 3 manga Luffys come out between OP09, OP11, OP13. Like there was just too many manga Luffys coming into circulation, and this is going to lead to a hot take going into OP17. But I think Bandai is stepping up their game. I think they're stepping up their game, and all roads are leading to OP17, which we'll get to in a bit.
I will say, I think it's easy for them to revisit this idea because I don't think Bandai was quite in their bag yet for OP02. Like they didn't really have everything figured out. But right now, like, dude, Bandai can't miss. That's what it feels like with these cards nowadays. Like they just completely figured out like a formula, so their revisit of this idea is just from what we've already seen, is just way better. There's only like one thing that I can nitpick that I'll get into in a second here. But my overall, like my first impressions of these cards, like, dude, I remember when I got to Marineford and I was watching the anime for the first time. I remember looking at the kind of like animation where Luffy like drops down. I won't say anything else, but he drops down and he sees them all just sitting down there. And I remember thinking to myself, he cannot beat these guys. And this guy's facing all 3 at the same time. How the hell is this gonna work? And I just remember feeling this sense of like, we're screwed. So this is actually a very important panel. Very important part of the story. Some people have this as their like favorite arc in the entire story, and I think it's definitely worthy of it. Really, really cool. In terms of the cards themselves, super sick. Like I said, super iconic. The cards themselves are pretty good, I would say, especially paired with the Sengoku. And I like the art, man. I like the art. I don't think the characters are particularly that popular, but this is one of those things where like they're so iconic. It's just these poses are so iconic.
I like the
love 'em.
diversification of the mangas.
Yeah.
We discussed this ad nauseum over the last couple of weeks, but according to the Bud's order of operations, what do we always emphasize? The first step: is it a popular character? Sure, none of these are in particular very popular characters. I think there's a lot of story to be told with why am I Aokiji? I think there's a lot of story to be told with Kuzan.
Kuzan, yeah.
I think there's a very interesting storyline to be told in the future in relation to his
sick,
character. It's a very, very complex character. If you've never watched the show, if you have watched the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when we were going from banger character to banger character, banger character, it was leading to a price level, especially during the peaks, that people were inaccessible to be able to get mangas. The reality is you need a Rayleigh. You need to have an OP10 Law. You need to have a Mihawk. You need to have a Bonnie. You need to have balance in the quality of the character and the quality of the manga in the set, because it creates a rightful tier list that people can justify pricing for the top tier mangas versus ones that are not necessarily top tier.
Balance in the force.
You must bring balance to the force, Anakin. But I think we're heading in a good direction. I like that we're going from Bonnie to Mihawk to Enel to now the 3 admirals of Marineford, because what it does is it makes it so special when you get, let's just say, another Luffy manga, or we get another Zoro manga, or God forbid we ever get a Nico Robin manga. It just makes it all that more unique and special. So really, I'm thankful for Bandai. If some people are like, man, I'm kind of underwhelmed with the characters they selected for the mangas and why they're doing this, understand that they were running too hot with what they were doing the last 2 years.
I mean, if every card is just a special popular character, it's gonna feel less special over time. And then you're like, I'm totally with you. They need to spread it out. They need to have some characters that are less popular, some characters that are middle of the pack popularity, and then you can bring out the Zoros and the Luffys and the Namis and give us a freaking Robin card already.
Finally, man, Bandai, we damn need it. Which no PRB spoiler, no PRB.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Coming for sure.
But what I like about this is like, it's so connected to a theme, and it's such an iconic panel that I still want these cards. Even if I'm like not the biggest fan of like Sakazuki, I actually do like Kuzan. And Borsalino, he tugged on my heartstrings a little bit.
A little bit during Egghead. There was some development there. There
was some development.
Sakazuki, man, I just want to see that fool get his face pounded.
We don't know anything about him.
I don't care.
He's just a piece of shit.
Don't care. All I want to see is his face get rocked. The day where Luffy encounters Sakazuki, I pray.
Dude,
I pray I'm alive for
oh
that
my
encounter.
God,
I
dude.
pray I'm alive for that encounter.
We cannot die until we see that moment.
I must stay alive until I see. I can only imagine what Luffy would think if he saw.
Dude, he
Sakazuki.
would go crazy. He would go crazy. Dude, I mean, when he first saw Borsalino, after the freaking, I'm going to be very, very vague here, but when he first saw Borsalino, he just on sight, bro. This guy was on sight.
Just immediately, yeah.
So imagine Sakazuki, but we're not gonna say why. We're not gonna say why.
I just think it's. I just remember the first line that Luffy says to Borsalino is, "We've gotten a lot stronger since you last saw us."
Yeah.
Like, what does he even say to Sakazuki?
Dude, that's on sight, bro.
What do you
that's
even
on
say
sight,
to
bro.
Sakazuki, man? Like, whew. But you bring up another interesting point that I actually have a question about. In Pokemon, they have arts that are connected. So there's, for example, the Latios and Latias card from Surging Sparks. The arts are connected. Would you deem that to be a connected art? Would you need to put all 3 mangas together to create one panel? Could that be possible?
I think if someone told me yes and someone told me no, I wouldn't be mad at any answer. I know that's a cop-out answer, but it's because like number one, this is a panel. Like, this is like them sitting down together. That is something we've seen in a single panel. But the backgrounds are usually connected in those, right? Like, I can't tell. Let me see if the mangas.
I'm actually really interested if they're partially
they're not.
connected.
They're not.
They're not. Okay.
So
if
the
Bandai would have done that,
that would have been crazy.
3 connected
Yeah,
mangas.
that would've been
Woo!
Yeah, so they're not like the panels aren't connected, like the backgrounds aren't connected themselves. So I think it's, if you told me that these are like connected arts, I wouldn't be pissed off. But I don't think they technically are.
I just imagine, you know how you can get those slab holders or even like display frames with the extended art.
That would be
I
sick.
imagine someone having all 3 of those together in one display.
That would be so sick.
Dude, that actually would go kind of hard.
That would go crazy. All right, so I mean, we talked about the mangas, but we also got to look at the new alt art leaders, and they're taking a completely different approach. I've seen some people say these are ass. I've seen some people say
Little
they
hostility
are good.
over here, huh?
Dude, we talked about this a lot, but we just like some variety, some new, some fresh. I like some fresh. I like some freshness. So all these are going to be on the screen, of course. So we have Monkey D. Luffy, we have Ace, we have Buggy, we have Sengoku, we have Yamato, and we have Teach. Yamato, what are we doing here? I have no idea.
That leader is going to be unplayable. I actually, they didn't even show, for every other leader, they showed support cards that was going to be in that set, except for Yamato. It's like Bandai's just like, we need a 6th leader. What can we do? What if we made a Yamato on a black leader and just threw it out there? Because God knows what support she's going to have for that deck to be playable at all.
We don't know.
But you bring up a good point about the leaders, and I was just thinking about this prior to our discussion here today. And when was the last time we didn't have a portrait leader? Was it really OP12?
OP13, 14, 15, right?
Does OP15 have a portrait leader? Or it doesn't have a portrait leader?
No, I mean it has like the altar. It's like the altar leader Brooke is like Brooke with the crew.
Oh, you're right. The Lucy as well. Okay, you're right. Okay, because I was like, damn man, we went on a streak there with no real changes or freshness. And even with those, I actually like the style that they went with the, adding the scene, for example, the Lucy alt art with Sabo in the Coliseum. I think that's super sick. But like the OP12 alt art leaders, those were very lackluster. I understand.
You didn't like those ones, huh?
I understand the whole concept, master and disciple, right? You want to put the master with the disciple in there, but like they were very lackluster, I thought, compared to the art that you can do in the non-portrait style. I think there's a lot of opportunity you can put in there, and I really like these, especially the Buggy. I think the Buggy looks fire in the impel down get up. But on top of that, I think just because the whole like skull and crossbones on his face and the cross guild, the cross on the leader, I think just
that's good aim.
Chef's kiss. It really does suit him well.
Yeah. Like I said, I like variety. So these I think, especially with the mono color. The mono color looks really good to me. I think the green blue Luffy background looks a little weird. That's just my all the colors are just I really like the mono, the mono colors. I think it looks really, really good. Buggy looks really, really good. Sengoku looks really, really good. Yamato, the color is meh. Black and yellow Teach. Black and yellow Teach looks pretty good, actually.
That's me interesting. Just another Thriller Bark package, man. You just pitch it, man. Another Thriller Bark package, man. Nothing to see here.
But yeah, I like the variety here. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the variety here. I think it's really cool. I like the poses that they have going on. The backgrounds are cool. I'm a big fan of the portrait personally. The manga portraits, those are my favorite alt art leaders. But again, I mean, if you continue to do something nonstop, they're going to feel less special.
Absolutely.
And they're going to feel overdone. You got to keep things fresh, and that's something Bandai is like.
They're doing it. They're doing the damn thing. They really are.
They regularly use styles that they just never revisit again. Look at it's OP03 or OP04 with the SPs, the Boa Hancock, the watercolor ones.
So good.
Just never did it again. Just never did it again. Shit. So, yeah, I like these alt-art leaders a lot. I think they're really cool. OP10, I'm not OP10, what am I saying? OP10's dog shit. OP16, looking actually pretty cool.
We were a little concerned about it. We were a little concerned.
It's looking pretty
cool.
I
will say was very surprised they didn't show any SPs. They were quick to show the mangas, but they didn't show the SPs, which...
And the SPs are that's the...
I mean, it seemed a little weird.
Need that.
I'm not going to lie. That seemed a little off, that they were able to show the the mangas, but they don't have the SP concepts done. I don't know. That was a little off to me.
Okay.
Because I know you said that it really surprised you that during this release they had so much information, but last year when I watched the post Worlds broadcast, it was long. It was equally as long. Yeah, there was a lot of information. I don't think last year they touched on the anniversary set, which we're about to get into in a second. But yeah, no, there was a lot of information they provided for sure, including the ban list. Which, come on, guys, killing me with this 1 day wait, man.
Yeah. So OP16, I don't think we should give our like definitive okay.
It's
we
too
like
early
this.
to be like,
We
what
need
we're
the
putting in the
SPs.
tier.
And I'm
You
learning
gotta
my
have the
lesson.
SPs,
I'm
yep.
learning my lesson.
Yep,
From
OP15. Yep,
I'm
can't do
learning
it.
my lesson. I need to see the SPs. But so far, I think the mangas have aura. I think the Altar leaders are a fresh new take, which is cool. But let's get into the next thing, which is OP17.
Woo! Worldwide release, baby. Folks, we're here. We're finally
fourth
here.
anniversary. A lot of information here. So
Finally here.
the fourth anniversary, OP17 is going to be called the World's Strongest Warriors. It's the fourth anniversary set. It's going to be coming out in August of 2026. We're going to Elbath. And it's going to be worldwide release
yeah.
to start. This is
This is massive. This is really big.
massive day. This will be so huge. I mean, so let's just, first of all, Elbath. In our prediction video, we actually had this as a prediction.
Yeah, I did.
We actually had this as a prediction.
Yep.
So,
I might have had the OP16 call incorrect. OP15 I got right. Or yeah, OP15 I got correct. I said we're going to get a no manga. We got a no manga. Got OP16 wrong because they went with the Admirals instead. But OP17. Going to Elbath. Dude. Finally, the timing from Bandai cannot be better. So the anime is starting back up in April. We're going to be, 4 months into the arc by the time that this set comes out. I think with it being an anniversary set, the sky's the limit for this one. I know my take was, in particular, I thought they could focus on God Valley. Allegedly, this season of the anime is going to stop right before God Valley, and the following season is going to be focused on God Valley. So I'm curious if we are going to get that. But if we don't, I mean, Loki manga? Possible.
but yeah,
possible.
Yeah, so we're going to Elbath, OP17, August 2026. We did not get any other information. So they didn't show any cards. They just showed the title. They showed that it's coming in August 2026. And then in an announcement like a couple minutes later, they showed like a timeline, and this was coming worldwide release.
But even with that, there's so much to break down and discuss. Apart from the Elbath, when you look at the release schedule in general.
Yeah, let's
Folks,
tackle this. Let's tackle the release.
We
schedule.
are getting an anniversary set
in August.
Never.
I mean, that's going to be the norm from now on.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, because of worldwide release, because they had the anniversary set come out in Japan in August, and then it would come out for us in November, December. But yeah, now with worldwide release, we have another anniversary set, and it's coming pretty damn soon, actually.
Get the wallets ready, folks.
Yeah,
get the wallets ready.
You got to get the wallets ready. So let's go through, now that we know what OP17 is, let's go through the release schedule that they released. And there is something missing that we're going to talk about here in a second.
Very alarming.
And I'm just
very alarming. It's alarming.
There could be a reason.
I think it's very alarming.
So in April, like I said, this is all on the screen, and now I'm going to be talking about North America specifically here. In April, we have OP15 mixed with EBO4. In May, we don't have anything. In June, we're going to have OP16, which we just talked about with all the different Admirals mangas. We have the Starter Deck 30. That's with Ace and Luffy. In July, we have Starter Deck 31 through Starter Deck 36. This is another thing that they announced. This is more of a collector show, so we didn't really talk about it here, but it has like Zoro, and it revisits leaders that we already have, and it's probably just going to give them additional support, which is going to be pretty cool. As a Zoro player yourself, you might get some additional cards.
Finally get a better Altar, man. That Altar from OP12 is me.
And then in August, we hit worldwide release. So everything is going to be released at the same time all across the world, and we're starting off in August with OP17. In September, there's nothing. In October, there's EBO5.
What are we doing?
There's just 3 EB sets this year.
What are we doing?
Shit. It's crazy. So October EBO5. We have no information on what EBO5 is at all. What they're gonna need to do. EB sets are very short printed, a very small amount of cards in the set. So I don't know what it's gonna have, what theme it's going to visit. Could be God Valley. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if that was what God Valley is. November we have OP18, and where's PRB? Where's PRB 03? Should that be in December?
I don't know what we're doing. The reason why the PRB situation is alarming to me for a couple of reasons. The first one, from a player's perspective, how do people get these cards? The PRB was always the set that gave people more affordability when it came to some cards, even though it was low printed and a lot of the cards in the set did run for a good premium. There is no question that for the SECs, you would see the market tank for the SECs that were reprinted in the PRB set. In particular, I've been talking about this. Kuma. Kuma, the community needs more Kumas.
A reprint,
We previously discussed, we confidently thought Kuma was going to get printed in the next PRB set. I mean, with how much he's needed in the current meta. And with Bandai not having a PRB set released this year, I wonder if they're going to be replacing next year the EB set that normally comes out at the beginning part of the year. For example, when EBO3 came out in February, are they going to be replacing that with PRB set? Are we going to do 2 PRBs next year? I feel like the 3 extra boosters is just too much. Don't be wrong. I think there's a lot of creativity and cool stuff they can do. AKA the heroin set. I think the heroin set is fantastic. But from a player's perspective, I'm definitely a little turned off by this. And from a collector's perspective, again, the PRB sets, when you look at the overall sets and the value that they retain with the creativity they can run in the set, although PRB 02 I thought was very lackluster, there's still a very great collectible item that you can add to your personal collection with some unique cards in there and unique card art. So I think this not being on the release schedule is a hindrance to both collectors and players, more so to the players in particular. But if I'm a collector, I'm definitely bummed. You're not seeing a PRB set in here.
Because that's where the Nico Robin manga would have left.
My take on it was I thought Bandai played their hand with the last set where they were pretty much saying we're only releasing Straw Hats in PRB sets. I don't know if that's the case or not, especially if we're having 3 EB sets this year. No idea, but I mean,
it's
alarming. It's from a player's perspective, it's alarming, and the reason why we always say there needs to be interconnectivity there, folks, is because for the card game to survive, we need players and we need collectors.
Affordability. It needs to be
we need to have affordability out there for the players, and if we don't get a PRB set, it's gonna result, especially if the prints for these sets don't get fixed, and we're not being able to get those reprints that Bandai promised in very big lengths and sizes. It's going to result in some potential problems with the sourcing of these cards.
The thing is Bandai's not stupid. They're not dumb, and they know that the PRB sets were vital to the affordability of the game. And when there were cards that were reaching like $40 to $50 for a secret rare, and SRs that were reaching like $20, this is the set that would come out. Everything would nuke. Players are happy. They
balance in the force, Anakin.
Balance in the force again. And Bandai knows that for sure. Like, we know Bandai is not stupid. And I don't want to just sound the alarm and say like, okay, this is for sure not happening. Maybe it happens in December. Maybe
if it comes out in December, I got a hot take, which is we're doing too much. If this comes out in December, how many sets would that make it for this year? I mean, what do we start with? We start with OP14?
OP14, EBO3, OP15, OP16, OP17, EBO5, and OP18.
And include EBO4 in that because OP14 was a combination of both. So from the Japanese set releases, how many sets is that?
It's a lot.
Like 8
or 9.
8 or 9 sets, guys. So that's too much. One thing about Pokemon that I was starting to get Pokemon fatigue is this constant new set thing every 2 months.
Yeah.
At some point, I don't care if you are a millionaire, billionaire, you just get fatigued. You get fatigued of having to constantly buy new product nonstop, and it really takes away from the uniqueness, I think, in collecting certain sets, right? Yeah. You never want to get the feeling where it's like you're always chasing, you're never able to catch up. Yeah. Like, you need to have a moment of reprieve, and I feel like we are getting that moment of reprieve this year in between August and October. Yeah. That's probably going to be a nice little 2-month buffer, but still, 2 months, guys? That's it? I mean, we're going from EBO5 to OP18 in a month. What are we doing, man? Like that's just, it's getting to the point of being a little too much.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how they handle PRBO3 and if they just completely axe the idea, because I remember reading somewhere that PRBO1 specifically did not sell very well in Japan, and maybe this is a decision based off of that. But I am not entirely sure. Of course, we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to find out what they do with PRBO3, if they axe it, if they moved it to December or January, or what they're doing with it, or maybe they're gonna start reprinting certain cards in new sets. Like, I don't know. Isn't that the Pokemon approach?
I would hate that. Yeah, that is a Pokemon approach. But I probably wouldn't like that. I really did like the uniqueness of PRBO1. It kind of reminded me of Pokemon a little bit, where you have a specialty set like Prismatic Evolutions or Ascended Heroes, where they focus on reprints with different art variations for cards that people like to collect or they like to play with. So, I really did enjoy that set. I'd be bummed if they stopped doing the PRB set. Yeah. I also think this would result in a pretty big premium to both PRB sets. If Bandai just blatantly stopped doing a PRB set in the future, I can only imagine what the value would be of the PRBO1 and PRBO2, where there's no world where Bandai does another PRB. That's a really good question. I think PRBO2 is a little lackluster, especially compared to PRBO1, but my God. Can you imagine PRBO1, what that would be going for if they never did a PRB set again? Just think about in 10 years, like, yeah, I got a box of PRBO1. It's like,
wow.
As you look sideways, whoa, PRBO1, hello.
And then kind of getting out of that kind of sets talk, let's talk about the prize cards coming in.
Sure.
The Championship 26 to 27 season top player prizes. So for top 64, we're getting a Boa Hancock card.
Boa collectors can't get a break, man. They just cannot get a break.
No, they cannot. The top 16 is Crocodile, which is cool. It's a different version of the Secret Rare, which I think is pretty cool, because Secret Rares are usually really good cards. So it'll be nice for people to have different versions of that. And then top 8 is this Mihawk card, and this Mihawk card is crazy. Like, whoa, that card's crazy. Yeah, these cards are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty cool. Nothing for me to like, holy shit, gotta sell the house kind of thing. But I do like these cards. I think they're really cool.
The discussion we had last week where we made the tier list, I said that popular character promo cards or winners cards like this, I thought I would put in, when I put in the C tier, I think put in the C tier. Boa, very popular character, of course, I would put that in the B tier. But again, when you look at it from a player's perspective, you have 3 incredibly important cards to the meta coming from OP14 as regional cards, and I think I really appreciate that Bandai is targeting that. From a collector's perspective, I do think there is still a lot of retained value, especially with the Boa in particular. But that Mihawk is just, oh my gosh, that art is so cool in there. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate having that in my collection. Though I hate that Mihawk deck. I couldn't stand playing it. Also, I was just a bad pilot at it. But I think I really do enjoy that they focused on sharing some love for the OP14 set, in particular with the Warlord. So, very creative.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, to summarize everything that we just went through, so they revealed OP16. We have the Admiral mangas, 3 different mangas. Altar Leaders, a completely different approach to that style. It's called the Time of Battle, and we're seeing that in June. They announced the new next anniversary set, which is OP17, and that's coming August of 2026. It's going to be called The World's Strongest Warriors, and we're going to be visiting Elbath, which is going to be really, really cool. They gave us a schedule of everything, so like we talked about, we're going to see OP16 in June, OP17 in August. October, we're going to see EBO5, and then in November, we're going to see OP18, and we're reaching worldwide release in August, all together at the same time with OP17. And then we went through the championship cards with the Boa, with the Crocodile, and with the Mihawk. So really, really cool stuff. A huge news drop. I think it's really awesome stuff. A lot of the news that I actually really enjoyed, a lot of the news personally. So nothing I was like, oh, this sucks. Only question mark in my mind that we just talked about ad nauseum is BRBO3. Where's it is it happening? Is it not happening? Where's it coming? How are the reprints going to happen? How are they going to tackle the affordability of the card game? Are they just going to print more? We know they have more distributors. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but maybe we'll find out soon. But let us know your guys' thoughts on everything that we just talked about. Do you guys like OP16, the worldwide release schedule? Do you like the championship cards that we just talked about? How do you think about the Altar Leaders for OP16? So a lot of cool information that we got and a lot of things that we would love to know your opinions on. But guys, we're gonna start a new segment this week, and we're just gonna talk about our buy of the week. Nick and I are gonna choose something that we think is a good buy this week, and then you guys can make your own decision on whether or not you agree with us. Nick, you want to start us off with your first good buy in the first good buy of the week segment?
I feel like every time you say goodbye, we're leaving for the episode.
Goodbye.
But we're definitely not here. We are here, folks. We are here. We're not going anywhere right now. I have a card that I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked that it was going for the price it was going for. And I wouldn't even say this is a good buy. I think this is an instant buy, in my opinion. In my opinion, not financial advice. But it's going to be a card from OP13, obviously a very popular set in particular. And that is the Wanted Poster Luffy, currently going for the low price of $360-ish, $365, lowest listed. Now, the reason why I have this one here is because when you look at the other Wanted posters, especially for Luffy, he's the only character who has 3 so far. I think this is way better than the OP03 Wanted poster. I don't even think it's close. I really do enjoy that burnt Wanted poster kind of background that really resembles what you would see on a Wanted poster in the show. I think that's great. I've always loved that more than I did with the OP03 versions, but the OP03 version going currently for $388, lowest listed in a non-anniversary set from a set that really, honestly, big picture, kind of lackluster. Soga King manga, sure, it does have the first ever SPs with the Wanted posters, but Wanted poster Kaido, Wanted poster Kid.
They're objectively not the best.
I think
compared to the other ones.
I think you would have a very hard time telling me that the OP03 Wanted poster should be more than the OP13 when considering that it is a Luffy Wanted poster with that different art style, which I think just looks objectively better. In an anniversary set where the box price currently going for around $550, and that's it after it's correcting. This thing was going for $750 a month ago. And I think, when you did a little Dom hand movement last week and the week before, I think that's definitely the trajectory it's going to be on. And when you're telling me that thing is going for $365, it's the cheapest Luffy Wanted poster. And on top of that, the OP09 Gear 5 Wanted poster going for $700. Do I think the Gear 5 Wanted poster from OP09 is better? Absolutely. I think it's definitely better. But I will say, I think this one in particular from OP13 probably slot in the middle between the $388 price and $700. I think that could easily be a $500 card, and it arguably should be right now.
Okay, I like that. I mean, mine's just going to kind of be a repeat just because I really do think this is a card that...
Man, you can say Bubble Zoro.
No, I'm not going to say Bubble Zoro. I'm not going to say Bubble Zoro. I'm not going to say Bubble Zoro. My pick, I mean, it's not surprising. I still think the Voyage Luffy is the pick. Sure. I think it is the card to pick up right now, presently, with all the games stopping. It is obviously one of those sports cards. It's a limited edition promo card. Now, there's a lot of these, like we talked about last week. I think there's upwards of I think someone estimated that there would be in the 60,000 to 90,000 range for how many cards there are. Not sure. No idea how many exactly there are, but that whole event series is ended. It is completely ended, and we saw these at the start go for about $450 to $500. Now they're sitting at about $180 to $200, and they reached a low of about $170. So I think people are starting to pick these up now, and I think this is just one of those cards that I think eventually the supply will dry up. Some people might buy 100 of these and just keep it sealed away for God knows how long. And this is just one of those cards that I think is really undervalued right now. It took a really big dip just because of the massive supply in the market. But that supply is completely on the market now. So I think this is the card. I mean, we bought this card.
Except for the 2 million that were stolen. We don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I mean, they probably are on the market already. Again, that one guy out there with the 5,000 reviews for...
Yeah, with the just Voyage Luffy sales.
Cops got to get these guys, man. They must be stopped.
But yeah, that would be my personal buy of the week.
I think it's great. I don't hate it at all. I think definitely you got to get that one sooner than later.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're moving on to the Q&A segment of the video. Just a reminder, you guys can leave your questions down in the comment section down below, and we may answer yours in the next video. Our first question comes in from Purely Mediocre, and he says, This is a question I've had for a bit. As a person who is pretty recently back in the TCG market after being out for about 15 to 20 years, can you explain the value of sealed product? It seems odd to me that, for example, Blue Bottom OP01 is currently 5,700 on TCG Player, but even if you ripped it and got the best combo of hits possible in that set, you at least you still wouldn't hit the value of the sealed product. At least it doesn't make sense to me that a sealed product's value can surpass the potential value of its contents. It almost feels like a TCG version of Schrodinger's cat. I'm open to being proved wrong. I just don't understand it and haven't really seen a good explanation before. This is a really freaking awesome question.
Fantastic question.
I mean,
Fantastic
you always
question.
have good questions. It's like
It definitely you are not purely mediocre with the questions.
It's a really thought-provoking question, and I think it's a question that anyone who just like has common sense when they look at things like, okay, this booster box is going for $1,000, but the top hit is $400. Where does that come from? My personal take, and mine's going to be very short and sweet, so I'm going to give this to you real quick here, Nick, is just there's just a lot of collector's value with these booster boxes as well. And people are always going to want to open something. There's fun involved with opening a product, and then there's also the PSA. There's the graded versions of these cards as well. So you have to accompany, like, for example, like a base set Pokemon box, right? If you got the Charizard, like just a raw copy of that card is not even close to the amount that you could get if you got a PSA 10 version of that card, right? Like it's not even close. And that's probably where a lot of the value comes in, or at least part of the value. And I think that is also the case for One Piece and just specifically all kind of trading cards, trading card games specifically. So like if you got like the OP01, if you got a pre-errata card, Blue Bottom, and you got that graded PSA 10, I would argue it'd probably be pretty close, especially after the big boom. And I'm pretty sure the pre-errata cards, and I haven't looked at any of the pre-errata cards, but I would argue it'd be pretty close to the price of the box. And you add that with the fact that Blue Bottom specifically is like the collector's item, like the item that if you are a collector, if you are a serious collector, you want that first. It's technically the first edition, not called it, but technically the first edition. You're gonna want that. So that would be my reasons for it. Like if you look at it logically, like you're saying, like it's not gonna make too much sense. But when you think of things like what are the cards going for graded? What's the collector's value of all that stuff? Is there a pre-rotted version for the Blue Bottom, for example? That's where my logic comes in. But, Nick, what are your thoughts?
This is a question that I have pondered many times. And it's actually one that I had answered. And I had it answered by the Messiah himself, Rudy from Alpha Investments. And the way that you're able to deduce what I have and what Rudy did it comes through market analysis and research when you look at trading card games as a whole. Because what happens is you always see a shared price, typically. Now, there are some exceptions, so I'll get you in a second. But you, on average, see retained value in a set correlating to the retained value of the cards in that set. So if you have a brand new set, whether it's Pokemon, One Piece, Dragon Ball, whatever it is, the box pricing is normally based off of the hits that you can get in the box. This is why the argument can be made for OP13 for why it was so expensive, because you could get a card worth $17,000. You can get several other cards worth right around anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000. So, of course, are you going to see a higher box price for a set where you're going to get the opportunity to pull a card worth $17,000 versus, let's just say OP12, for example, where the most expensive card is the Buggy. It's the Buggy Anniversary, which goes for what, like $2,500, something like that?
Oh, the Teach Anniversary.
The Teach Anniversary, sorry. Are you going to see more retained value in the OP13 set, or are you going to see it in the OP12 set? You're going to see it in the OP13 set. That is for recent sets. What happens is when you look at the charts and you look at the sales and when the boxes start to age, you over time see a shift happen in the market where instead of it being even like this, you have boxes go like this and you have the raw cards go like this. And this divergence typically happens when booster boxes get to a certain point of the age process where the burn rate is just too high. I know the burn rate is something we've discussed here previously, but to reiterate what it is, burn rate is how many boxes are being burned through on a yearly basis. At the end of the day, unless your name is Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even some situations Lorcana, at some point, the person who's manufacturing the product or the card developer is going to stop developing and printing the set. And when they stop printing the set, that is the finito moment. You will never see it again. It's done.
Yep.
But people are still ripping through that product. So eventually, every year, we lost 1,000 boxes this year. Next year, we lost 750. The year after that, we lost 500. Eventually, the sealed product becomes so rare that the cards available become more accessible. So, for example, there might be, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, I have no idea, I'm just giving an example, but we'll just say, I don't know, 1,000 first edition base set Pokemon boxes in existence right now. How many Charizards are there out there? From LP to mod play to damaged to near mint, again, kind of in connection to what you were saying about the increased pricing that comes from getting the card graded, but there comes a point where there's more cards available than there are sealed products. And the sealed products surpass that card, surpass the cards because of that reason. They're just much more rare. Especially a box in good condition. I don't know if you ever looked at sealed products, but oftentimes a lot of the stuff that was in people's closets for a long time, damage happens. Of course, people take better care of their stuff nowadays than they did 30 years ago, but there's definitely there is even a scale for sealed product in terms of, is it open? Is it legitimate? Is it a fake product? There's so many things that go into the influx of the price. But again, a majority of the time what you see is this breakoff point where the sealed price goes up exponentially and the raw cards don't. A great example of that, my favorite, is Pokemon XY Evolutions, where the most expensive card is like $500, and a booster box, I think, just surpassed like $3,500 or something.
Damn.
So you're seeing a huge X multiplier between the raw card that is the number one hit versus the sealed product. But again, you're seeing that because it's much rarer to find a XY Evolutions booster box that is sealed in near mint condition than it is a XY Charizard.
Makes sense.
Now, where it gets a little bit messy is the Obsidian Flames example. The Obsidian Flames example is one that I've given many times on the channel, even named back to the Beginner's Guide series. But at some point, I think even including right now, Obsidian Flames is a set that is not very old. It came out in Scarlet Violet era. I think it was the third set in the Scarlet Violet era. So it's probably right around 2 years old. Not very old in the scheme of Pokemon, a 30-year history of the trading card game. But you are seeing an Obsidian Flames booster box going for the same price as every single card in the set combined. Or we saw it at least at one point. Again, I haven't looked at Obsidian Flames in a while, but during the big Pokemon boom that happened in the summer of last year and the early parts of last year, you did actually see the booster box surpassing the price of, you could master set Obsidian Flames for less than the booster box. And that makes no sense. It makes no sense, and that's why if you ever see that, especially for a recent set, do not buy a booster box of that set because there's something clearly very inflated about that box price. But if we're getting the more vintage stuff, especially like the example you gave with OP01, it's just because these boxes don't exist. They're very hard to find out there, especially finding one in a really good condition. People are still, I can't believe I'm saying this, you could probably find someone who's opened a box OP01 this year, a base set. First edition box. It wouldn't surprise me, especially with all the rip and ship out there. The burn rate is very real for a lot of these sets, and people are burning through it. I mean, there's people who will pay for a booster pack to be opened of even first edition base set for Pokemon, which is crazy. But again, the healthy trajectory that you see with sealed product is that divergence coming over an extended period of time. You never want to see it happen within 6 months, but if for these older sets, like you mentioned, OP01, it's very healthy and a part of the trading card game growth where you see the sealed product go here and the singles end up here. So hopefully that summarizes it. A little bit of a long-winded answer, but a very great question.
Well said, brother. Our last question comes in from Steven.6492, and he said, question for y'all, speaking of prize cards. I mostly play the game rather than collect, and every so often I'll get a winner card or a rare promo. Wondering what's your advice on selling those cards. Do I try to sell ASAP after winning, wait a bit after the card becomes more scarce, send a PSA and sell graded? For me, most of the time, I'd rather have the money to put back into playing the game. I love rather than one fancy card on a shelf. Keep up the great content. I mean, really good question again. I mean, these questions are fantastic.
Fantastic questions.
Like as a player, like if you get a prize card,
I mean, you do have a lot of options. Do you get it graded? Is it going to get a 9? Is it going to get a 10? Obviously, you're going to get more of a premium if you get it graded. And it also depends on what the prize card is, what the character is, all that stuff. I would argue, like, if you want a prize card and it wasn't gradable and it wasn't a popular character, I would probably sell it when I got it. That's just what I would personally do. If I got a prize card and it was a Zoro or a Luffy or a Nami or a Robin or a popular character, and it wasn't gradable, I would consider keeping it for a bit. And if it was gradable, I would definitely grade it. And then depending on what the price is, I would probably sell it. That's just me personally. Like for Zoro, I would keep 100% of the time. But if I got a Luffy card as a prize card and it was gradable, send that to PSA, get it back, I'd probably just sell it. That's just what I would do, especially like in a hot market. If you're not in a hot market, then I would probably just keep it, to be honest, and just wait for prize cards to either pick up or that card to, because prize cards, especially for popular characters, I think will go up in value over time. That's just that's my take and my philosophy on those. So if it's a popular character, I think you should keep it. I definitely think you should grade it. But it all just depends. It all just depends on kind of where you're at, what the card is, where you got it from, how scarce it is. Like oh my gosh, like that guy who got the first place Luffy card. Dude, that's an immediate sell. Just you got someone who's willing to buy that for $1 million, ship that. Yeah. If you got the Zoro serialized card, that's selling for like 20 grand right now. Sell that. That for sure. And then how you sell it, that's just eBay. I'd probably sell it on eBay or
You're
go
a
to a
madman for that. You're telling me you're selling a $1.5 million card on eBay?
Oh no. I'm talking about like
You're telling me you'd sell a
I would say
$5,000
like
regional card? You'd
I
sell
would like a majority of cards.
You would sell the serialized Zoro on eBay?
I guess,
a $25,000
I guess it just depends
card?
on the price. Like anything like I've sold a $5,000 card on eBay.
Yeah, I thought you were kind of crazy for that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think you're kind of crazy for that.
I would say you can either sell it on eBay or you could go to a local card show and then you could get a cash deal or something.
I like that more.
Yeah, those are that is all my recommendation, Nick. If you have anything else,
just have a couple things to add, and that is a couple. A lot of the stuff I've reiterated here several times, but at the end of the day, this is a you question, and I bring that up because it really depends on a couple factors for me. The first thing is the sentimental value of the card in particular. For example, Dom and I, we keep our cards that we win from locals and we put the date on it. And it's kind of like a little memento in terms of our playing career. So every single card that I won for locals, I write the date on it and the deck that I played, and I put it in my binder, and I got them all there. And those cards really are not that valuable. They're just basic winner cards that anyone can get from any local tournament. And that goes to my second point, which is the Buds order of operations. First point on the Buds order of operations. Is it a collectible character or is it a popular character? That's the first thing. Are the promo cards that you have that you won, is it of a popular character? Okay, you got that checked off. Let's go to the next part. How rare and limited edition of a promo are we talking about? Yeah. Do you have a top 8 at regionals? Do you have a top 16 at regionals? Do you have a top 64 at regionals? I would do market research to see what the value is of the card that you have and also compare it to the sentimental value that you have towards the card and look at your financial situation. Do you just want to cash out the card now if it's worth $40, or do you want to hold on to it as a memento and try to sell it at a later point, think it's worth more money? If it's a rare promo card, like I'd say any top 64 regionals card, I would get it graded no matter what the character was, just because you're going to see a premium on that card, and there's just not many in existence. So I think there's several factors here that you have to consider, but if you're talking about like a lower-end winner's card from a locals tournament, you're not going to see very much retained value. So I would say, that $20 you might get back from the card, is it worth the sentimental value that you might have towards it? But if you're going towards some more rare stuff, that's where it really comes down to your financial situation. If I ever won a regionals top card, I probably wouldn't sell it just because of the sentimental value that it would have to me and my playing career. But again, I'm not everyone, and I don't understand where you might be. And you might have a card that is a top 60 or top 16 Zoro that you can get graded, and it's worth over $6,000. That's life-changing money to a lot of people, especially in the modern economy. So, again, I think at the end of the day, this is a you question, but there's several things to consider. So the first thing, like I said, buzz order operations to try to figure out what the value might be on it long term. And the second thing that I would add in there is what's the sentimental value in your current situation. So,
Yeah, it's unfortunately not black and white, so sorry we couldn't give you like a do this, do that, do that. Depends a lot on the rarity, the character, sentimental value, like Nick said. But hopefully we gave you some value in that. All right, well, that has been that. Episode 23, I believe. My goodness.
MJ, baby. MJ.
Nick, guys, just real quick, thank you guys so much for listening to probably an hour. What? Probably like an hour. We went through a lot of news today. A lot of news.
It was
great
a news-heavy episode for sure.
A lot of great information. A lot of news that I'm personally really, really excited for. Really, really excited to see how OP16 turns out. The SPs. What is OP17 going to look like? We're going to Elbath. What exactly is that going to look like? What's worldwide release going to look like? I mean, we could have a whole episode.
Yeah, it's going to be spicy.
We could have a whole episode just talking about the impact of worldwide release and how that's going to impact playing the game, collecting the game, buying boxes, Japanese in America. We've talked about that before.
Is it the end of times for that?
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. So a lot of interesting stuff going on. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you guys think on all the different things that we talked about today in the comment section down below. And of course, ask questions. And then of course, we have a giveaway going on at 5,000 subscribers. But Nick, end us off, man.
As always, guys, thank you so much for spending roughly an hour out of your busy lives to be here with us, the Buds, as we discuss something we all love, being the One Piece trading card game. As I always like to say in the last 15 seconds of the video, but before that, just a big, big thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts. We genuinely do appreciate all the love and support that you guys have shown us on our content creation journey over the last year, and we really do look forward every Sunday to filming these and bringing you guys, hopefully, some value to your collecting journeys. But as I was going to say, the last 15 seconds, the one thing I always like to add is there's going to be 2 playlists up here. One on the left is going to be the Beginner's Guide series where I teach you everything that you need to know when it comes to collecting One Piece trading card game. And the other one is going to be to all the previous episodes of Buds Watch where we do our best to give you the most bang for your buck when it comes to collecting the One Piece trading card game.
All right, guys. Catch y'all
On the next one.
Peace.